In every age, the human mind has searched for the spark that drives action, the feeling that pushes effort into achievement. Modern culture often calls this spark motivation, a surge of energy, an inner flame that promises progress and purpose. Yet motivation is fleeting. It rises with emotion and fades with difficulty. It depends on mood, circumstance, and comfort. The Stoics of the ancient world understood this impermanence long before the modern era began chasing inspiration. They taught that the path to excellence is not paved by motivation, but by discipline. To the Stoic, the truly strong are not those who wait to feel ready, but those who act regardless of feeling. Discipline, not motivation, is the foundation of a virtuous and meaningful life. It is the quiet strength that endures when excitement fades, the steady rhythm that continues when passion runs dry. Motivation inspires the beginning, discipline sustains the journey. The Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, lived in times no less turbulent than today. Each faced hardship, uncertainty, and loss. Yet their writings remain timeless because they built their wisdom not on emotion, but on reason and practice. For them, philosophy was not an idea to admire, but a discipline to live by. They believed that true progress arises not from the momentary rush of feeling inspired, but from consistent effort rooted in principle. Epictetus, once a slave, became one of the greatest teachers of Stoic philosophy. His life demonstrated that external circumstances do not define one's character. Discipline does. He taught that control lies only in thought, choice, and action, never in outcome or emotion. To depend on motivation is to depend on what cannot be controlled. Feelings fluctuate like the weather, but disciplined action belongs entirely to the self. The Stoic therefore grounds strength not in inspiration, but in mastery over impulse. Motivation seeks comfort. Discipline accepts hardship. Motivation asks for ideal conditions. Discipline creates progress from any condition. In the Stoic view, those who live by motivation live as servants to feeling, while those who live by discipline live as masters of the self. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote that action should follow duty, not desire. He reminded himself each morning that reluctance is natural, but irrelevant. To perform what must be done is the essence of virtue, regardless of mood or convenience. This understanding reveals a crucial difference. Motivation depends on external influence. Discipline grows from inner order. Motivation may come from praise, reward, or novelty. Discipline is born from clarity of purpose and commitment to principle. The Stoic does not ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" but instead, "Is this the right thing to do?" That question shifts the source of strength from emotion to reason. The Stoics believe that human beings possess a rational nature, capable of governing desire and impulse through conscious thought. This power, when cultivated, leads to freedom. But when neglected, the mind becomes enslaved by fleeting passions. Motivation in this sense is a form of slavery, a reliance on external stimulation to act. Discipline, on the other hand, is freedom, the ability to act with consistency and integrity, independent of circumstance. Seneca wrote that excellence is not the result of chance or enthusiasm, but of habit formed through repetition. Each day presents an opportunity to train the mind as an athlete trains the body. Small, deliberate actions performed with consistency reshape character. Through disciplined practice, even the most difficult tasks become natural. Habit transforms effort into ease. The Stoic path, therefore, is one of quiet repetition, guided by principle, not emotion. Motivation is a flame. Discipline is a foundation. A flame burns brightly but briefly. A foundation, once built, endures storms and time. The Stoics understood that life's trials demand more than energy. They demand endurance. The mind that depends on motivation will collapse when hardship strikes, but the disciplined mind remains firm. It acts not from pleasure or pain, but from understanding. This distinction is essential to Stoic ethics. To act only when inspired is to be ruled by emotion, and thus to live reactively. To act from discipline is to live deliberately, guided by reason and virtue. Stoicism teaches that virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance is the highest good. These virtues are not achieved through occasional inspiration, but through daily practice. Discipline is the bridge between knowing what is right and doing what is right. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on this during his reign. Surrounded by political intrigue and personal loss, he reminded himself that inner strength does not depend on favorable conditions. His writings reveal a mind trained through discipline, not emotion. When faced with exhaustion, he wrote, "At dawn, when reluctant to rise, remember that being human means working for the common good." This statement captures the Stoic view of discipline, duty over desire, purpose over comfort. To the Stoics, discipline begins with understanding the nature of control. External outcomes, success, recognition, results, cannot be guaranteed. Only effort and intention lie within personal command. Therefore, the disciplined person focuses on process, not reward. Motivation seeks reward. Discipline seeks excellence. By detaching from outcome, the mind becomes stable. Success and failure lose their power to disturb. What matters is integrity in action. Epictetus taught his students that the true test of character is not how one behaves in moments of ease, but how one endures difficulty. The disciplined mind acts the same in both. It does not wait for conditions to improve, it improves itself regardless of conditions. In this sense, discipline becomes both shield and compass. It shields from the chaos of emotion and directs action toward what is right and necessary. The Stoic understanding of discipline also involves acceptance. Life is unpredictable, filled with obstacles and disappointments. Motivation often falters when faced with resistance, but discipline transforms resistance into training. Marcus Aurelius wrote that obstacles are not hindrances, but opportunities to practice strength. What stands in the way becomes the way. Each challenge becomes a lesson in perseverance. Discipline turns adversity into growth. To build such discipline requires awareness of thought. The Stoics practiced reflection each morning and evening. At dawn, they prepared for the day's trials with calm readiness. At night, they reviewed their actions, not with guilt, but with intention to improve. This daily rhythm replaced dependence on emotion with structure and purpose. Through consistent self-examination, the mind gradually became self-governed. Seneca compared the disciplined life to a sculptor shaping marble. Each deliberate stroke refines the form, each careless motion distorts it. Character, like sculpture, is built through discipline, not inspiration. The sculptor does not wait for excitement to work. He works, and through work, beauty emerges. Similarly, discipline refines the soul until virtue becomes effortless. This approach eliminates the need for constant motivation. When discipline becomes habit, effort becomes natural. There is no debate, no hesitation, only action guided by reason. The Stoics called this state ataraxia, a tranquility of mind born from harmony between thought and deed. Such peace is unreachable through motivation alone, for motivation depends on the unpredictable tides of emotion. Discipline, however, creates steadiness in all conditions. The modern world often glorifies passion and inspiration, yet it overlooks the quiet strength of persistence. Motivation begins journeys, discipline completes them. Motivation excites, discipline endures. Every enduring achievement, from art to philosophy to leadership, rests not on bursts of energy, but on consistent effort. Even the Stoic philosophers themselves, whose writings inspire centuries later, achieved their wisdom not through moments of inspiration, but through lifelong discipline in reflection and action. This distinction also reveals a profound Stoic truth. Discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. To act with discipline is to free the self from the tyranny of impulse. The disciplined mind chooses what is right, not what is easy. It finds contentment not in comfort but in self-mastery. Seneca once wrote that the greatest wealth is to need nothing. Similarly, the greatest strength is to depend on no external force for motivation. Through discipline, the mind gains clarity and freedom. Emotions continue to arise, fear, laziness, desire, but they no longer command. They become signals, not orders. Discipline transforms chaos into order and order into peace. This transformation, achieved through repetition and reflection, defines the Stoic path to wisdom. In the end, motivation is useful but unreliable. It is a visitor that comes and goes. Discipline, however, is a companion that remains. It is the steady fire that warms without consuming, the quiet force that sustains purpose when emotion fades. The Stoics understood this truth deeply. Greatness is not born from inspiration, but from habit aligned with virtue. Life's most meaningful pursuits, learning, service, self-mastery, require persistence beyond enthusiasm. Discipline carries the mind through fatigue, doubt, and adversity. It transforms potential into reality and confusion into clarity. It is the difference between wishing for change and creating it. The Stoic view, therefore, is simple yet profound. The search for motivation is endless because emotion is unstable. The cultivation of discipline ends that search, for it builds stability from within. To live by discipline is to live in harmony with reason and nature. It is to act rightly, steadily, and consciously, regardless of feeling. When discipline replaces motivation, life becomes steady, purposeful, and free. The storms of emotion may continue to rage, but the disciplined mind remains unmoved, guided by virtue, grounded in reason, and anchored in the unshakable strength of self-control.